All right, Alters by Kronos can bring you another match here. This was part of the latest tournament. This was Chains versus my version of the deck for 4 Horsemen. There are 2 versions. This is the non-creature version. That's what I'm playing first. I want to see how far I can get and what I can do and what its weaknesses are. So there's only one way to find out. But first, we're going to watch the intro.
Greetings, old school magic players, and welcome to the 4 Horsemen.
All right, so I believe I won the roll here. I'm on the left on the dude playmat, as usual, and Chains is on the right. Alright, Underground C, and pass. Typical control fashion. Now mind you, I'm playing this deck with only 1 counterspell, because this format only has 1 counterspell, so you gotta think a little outside the box. There's a beautiful mountain, and pass. At this point, I had no idea what I was playing against. We still don't have deck pictures shared because it's too early in the tournament. So that's why there's no deck pictures or anything like that. You'll see my stuff all around because, well, I don't really care, so I'll show you guys whatever. I'm just here to have fun. There's a volcanic island. So I got no white yet, but it looks like I must have something in my hand. I might have a mana drain. Alright, there's black. So now I'm on red and black, which is actually good for me because I carry 2 COPs on my sideboard. Alright, so there's the rack. That kind of gives me an indicator. Now, obviously this format doesn't have Hypnotic Specters or anything crazy like that, so I have to figure out, okay, what kind of deck am I playing against? I had a feeling it was going to be Chains. Chains is very deadly in this format. I think sometimes what people are doing is they're building these decks and they're going all in and putting all their eggs in one basket, and they're not building it to be balanced out. I have no worries about the rack. I'm probably never going to take damage from it. It's going to be other cards that are going to force me to take damage from the rack. Okay, there's another red and black. So now he has double black and red, so I'm not sure what to expect here. There's a Chain Lightning in the face. I'm okay with that. Mind you, I do play Mirror Universe and stuff in here, so people want to burn me out, go for it. Alright, so there's the city. Now I have white source. Oh, it looks like I'm tapping 4. What am I doing? Oh, okay. Alright, I put a coffin out. The reason I put coffin out now is because he's playing red and black, so I don't have to worry about any kind of crazy removal at this point. So I'm taking advantage of it, and I'm playing a coffin ahead of time because I'm seeing stuff like this. I'm expecting Juzams, and I really hope there's Juzams coming out because I love Spirit Linking them. Spirit Link has a huge downside though. So Spirit Link's cool for keeping things off and stuff like that, but The downside is if I'm at 10 life and you have 2 Juzams, I'm technically going to die before my Spirit Link gives me life. Right now, I'm explaining to him what Coffin is. I can't read the card because Magic decided with all the new rules they were going to completely eradicate this entire card and rewrite it. It used to have what's called phasing, which means your creatures did not have stomach sickness, and it did not tap until after it was successfully completed. So it was a whole new ball game. So I kind of read him some of the rules online and walked him through a little bit of it. But they kind of made the card unfair. They made it exile instead of phasing. So one step, it has a downside now, where if the coffin is exiled while in use, your creature never comes back. There's a Juzam, and that's his perfect Spirit Link like I was telling you about. That's a big oh crap for anybody with, you know, dibs or Juzams. But basically what happens, you can't tap down with like Relic Barrier or anything like that because it'll still go on the stack and it will still happen. It doesn't stop it, according to Magic the Gathering. The only way to stop Coffin, according to Magic the Gathering, is to exile the coffin while it's in use. If you exile it while it's in use, then the ability does not go on the stack. I shouldn't say exile it, but as long as it's destroyed. So basically, if I go to use it on a creature and you Divine Offering, that's not going to be good. Alright, so you see a maze down there, but that's not going to affect me. I only have 2 creatures. I'm not worried about it right now. The Blood Moon did try and come down, but that just gave me a bunch of mana. So that explains why I was doing a double blue right away and not putting the city out. Alright, there's a factory. I don't think the factory really ever really done much for me. By the way, in case you're wondering, that's my kid playing with his cars and stuff right behind me. What am I doing here? Looks like I'm trying to count up some mana here. Do I have a Pyroblast? I mean, that'd be pretty silly to do something like that. That's 5 mana. What am I casting here? Oh, I am. Okay. So I must not have had anything to use. So I decided to take an entire chunk off his life. Usually I don't want to play that. Usually that's for a bunch of weenies or something like that. But I believe I had another Spirit Link in my hand. And I believe I had possibly a Divine Offering or something in my hand. Again, I know I'm actually saving up to try and get a normal webcam. But right now I only have a top down because I can't afford a webcam and stand at the moment. So what I do is I keep my cards on the table there with a dice on top. My sideboard is actually behind the camera where the dice is. So it's not like I could even grab things from my sideboard. Alright, so there's a problem. Now I have 2 blue open still, so that means I have Boomerang. That was the other card. That's my indicator. So there's an Underworld Dreams, and there is a Chains. Now I'm not worried. What I want to do is mess with the stack. So if he goes to cast, say, a Winds of Change, I want to send the Chains back to his hand. That way it filters back into his graveyard and he has to mill, and hopefully he'll mill Chains and or rack out. That's at least my mindset. He was kind of correcting me on some of the life there. So if I'm incorrect, some people try and correct me. I thought I was correct, but we'll see what happens. Now I do take damage from Underworld Dreams, but I'm pretty much going to play control here, so I'm just going to pass, hoping he Winds of Change. Because that'll put more cards in his hand, and that's more he has to mill. The more he mills, the more chance he has of getting rid of the cards that win him the game. I've seen a lot of chains decks, and they all have one thing in common, that card right there and a bunch of other stuff. But I still think it's too many eggs in one basket. If I ever have proxies of chains, I would like to try it out, but without those kind of cards. I want to go a different route. Let's see here, what am I doing? Yeah, I'm gonna probably destroy. Yep, there's a Divine Offering on the rack. And there's the Boomerang. So I'm gonna Boomerang chains back to his hand. Now I'm down to 1, but again, I was holding that Divine Offering, so I wanted to get rid of that rack. What's going to happen is, and I'm trying to explain it to him right now, but I'm boomeranging his chains back to his hand. So chains is going to go in his hand, because this is all in response. And then he is going to, yep, so there's Boomerang. Now we get to the last thing, which is the Winds of Chains. Now we do not mill, because there is no chains. So all it did was, he should be drawing his cards in replace. I'm going to skip ahead of the shuffles because we're going to end up doing piles. Alright, just give you a quick glimpse. Here's me setting up the piles. Always do piles of 6, don't do piles of 3. All the people who stack their decks, it'll give them away because they'll kind of refuse to do piles. And usually you get a better outcome. So there's a quick random dice roll. Alright, so we're going to draw. I drew the card in replace. He drew his cards. Let's see if he has anything else to play out here. I just have a funny feeling there's another Juzam or something coming. Another Underworld Dreams. That's bad for me. So what I need now is another Spirit Link. I mean, I have plenty of time here, but because basically I'm losing 1 and he's losing 1. So I'm gaining 1 on his turn. So that's what we were kind of talking about there. I forgot about the Spirit Link. So there's me correcting the Spirit Link, just saying, hey, by the way, that's why I'm saying I'm gaining a life. So I don't get anything. So for instance, if there was an Abyss out and the Juzam died to the Abyss, I don't get Spirit Link life. But he still takes the damage from Juzam. Now he can attack me for 5, but it's not going to really do anything there. There's Chain Lightning to the face. So I'm going to go from... Yep, and there's the Underworld Dreams damage. There's the pass. I gained 1 from the Spirit Link, and he loses another 1. Now, I believe I have another Spirit Link in hand. Now, all he's doing right now is just, it's not really tapped, but it's a way for him to decipher what has a Spirit Link on it and what doesn't. And I get this struggle because I struggle with this stuff all the time. When it's not in person and it's online, it's hard to remember what's on your creatures. Some guys are lucky and they have a lot of extra cards and they can pop things in there, but I typically don't keep an arsenal of cards. But there's the other Spirit Link I was talking about. So again, they're not really tapped. So you'll notice I'm not attacking with my factory because they're not actually tapped. That's just his way of indicating about the spirit links. Now, if I get down to 5, that's where the problem is, because he can technically swing in. But as long as my factory is there, he can only do 5, because he can untap whatever I decide to block with the factory and remove his Juzam from combat, leaving the other one through and killing me if I'm at 5 life. So I'm sitting here with a 4 dice right now, so as long as I don't lose 4 more life, I'm not dead. Now here's where I'm starting to gain life, because I do go up 2, so I should be balanced at 11 now. Alright, there's the Abyss. Alright, so basically what... And I'm actually shocked about main deck Abyss, but I'm sure he has reasons for it. One of them is probably if something gets spirit linked. So his goal is to get bounce a bit, or to destroy his Juzams with Abyss. It's currently my turn. So there's another coffin. What's wrong, Pat? Okay, and there's an end step boomerang. What's wrong, buddy? There's the pass. Did you want more? More? Good try. Go get it and show Daddy. Oh, there's a strip. So there goes my factory. I thought he was talking about factory, but he originally said tundra. But because some of you, we're all kind of newer here. We shouldn't really be as lenient as we are, but we want to be because the spirit of magic. So the best choice for him is the factory. So down comes the Abyss again. Looks like I'm gonna... Oh, he's reminding me. I did him a favor, he's reminding me. He's like, hey, wait a minute. Abyss is a draw action. So he's like, do you really want to do that? Again, this is a friendly... It is a tournament game. And technically we shouldn't be like this, but I corrected him and we helped him. So I was explaining to him the best move for him. So there's the play, but I did not draw the action. The card went back on top as he wished. So that's the perfect example. I did not look at it, but either way, that's where it went. It ended up being a horrible card that did not help me at all whatsoever. But that being said, a lot of times Magic players will decide how we want to kind of go about things and do things. Alright, so we had a friendly discussion about, what could we have done better, different things like that. So I was walking him through a bunch of different stuff. We were talking about Coffin and old school rules. How honestly we wish that playing old school, we would use the original old school rules. They were a lot simpler. We didn't have all this craziness. Alright, so during his main phase, he plays a ball of lightning. He goes directly to combat, but because it's played during the main phase, I put ball of lightning in the coffin. So technically it's not in his graveyard yet. So there goes a Juzam, by the way. I forgot to put the Spirit Link in a graveyard. So I'm going to untap my Coffin, bringing back his Ball of Lightning tapped. And that was just me kind of explaining, hey, it really should be back, but it is going to die at the end of your turn. And if you guys have any tips and tricks or anything like that, just let me know. I'm still trying to get used to myself when I'm looking at an opponent's like that. It's hard to remember for me that Underworld Dreams is out there because it's not in front of me. I'm so used to playing in person my entire life that sometimes I forget when things are on the table. So right now we're just kind of doing passing back and forth. There's really not much going on. He can't really play any other creatures because they're going to die to his Abyss. So if he has any more Juzams, he can't really play them. There's a pass. So I'm going to go down 2. Oh, there's a trike. That's going to be a problem. And I put the wrong amount of counters on it. I'm sure I'll fix that in a second here. But the trike's a big issue because I have coffins. So he's, nope, game's over. There's nothing I can do. So we're going to go on to game number 2 after sideboarding and some crazy shuffling. All right, so we're back with game number 2 here. Actually, accidentally saw my whole hand here. I didn't pause it enough to see what was in my hand, but that's why I don't want a top-down camera. All right, so we'll see what he starts out with here because he chose to go first. So there's a city. And there's the pass. All right, so there's an underground sea. I don't think I really put all that much in. I put a couple spells in there that destroy red permanents. If you know the name of that spell, put it in the comments. But there is a 1 cast instant blue spell in the 4 Horsemen format that destroys a red permanent. And that's what I use to destroy Blood Moons. I think I put my extra boomerang in and my 2 COPs because he's only playing black and red. So if I get one of those COPs out, it's pretty much game. It does cost me 2 mana, but there's chains. So at this moment, I have a great hand, but I'm expecting to get rid of my hand. And I did not. So I kind of got lucky here. So I'm going to quick play a maze out right now. And pass. That way if something crazy comes out like a Juzam, I'm not going to just die. Because I have Spirit Links in my hand. I have Divine Offerings in my hand. Alright, so I want to make sure I had plenty of blue and plenty of white. Now I'm expecting a rack. There we go, there's a rack. And there's the ends. Oh, looks like I'm mana draining the rack. That is a little bit intense. But I must wanted that 1 mana for something. I didn't put the mana drain in the middle of the board. I probably forgot about it. Alright, now that, I think I corrected it here. I think I remember this now, but there's a COP. That's why I countered the rack in my mind, because I did not want an artifact to hurt me. So I'm going to skip this part, but this is me reading it to him. Alright, so there we go. Let's see if I remember to untap my island there, because I shouldn't have to. Oh, it looks like I forgot all about it. Oh, no, there we go. I think he must have reminded me at that point. Yep. It's not going to make a difference for me at the moment, but that's all I really need is a white and another color. Now I have a COP red, so if he tries to chain lightning me, I can just take away all the damage. I'm already at 4 mana. So if I get some more mana out, it's going to be a big problem. And I already got rid of 1 rack. So if he ends up doing something that's going to mill cards, I don't personally like that, but he might mill a whole lot of his cards. I think at this point I had a Triskelion, a Coffin, and a Spirit Link in my hand. So I had all the cards I needed to win the game at the moment. I was waiting for 1 more mana, so this way I could cast Coffin and have mana for redirecting damage from my health in case he casts something big or does something crazy. Now, I didn't expect this wins a change because there's no rack out. So I kind of got caught a little bit by surprise. There's no artifacts or anything like that for me to really remove. So I'm looking at my hand trying desperately to find something that I can benefit from, but there's nothing I can do. So we're going to shuffle in here and mill some cards. Alright, looks like he's milling. He got a Blood Moon, a land, a rack, an Underworld Dreams, another Underworld Dreams. So he lost a lot. I lost a Spirit Link, a Fountain, a land, and a Remove Soul. So there's me kind of talking him out there. But I lost some good cards too, but I didn't lose anything that was seriously important. Yeah, he just lost a lot of his damage to me. Alright, well there's a useless tower because I only have 1 card. So let's see if I can start gaining some cards here. Since I'm a control deck, in theory, I should slowly gain my cards back. Alright, so I'm going to pass, because I know he only has 2 mana out, so if I can find something. I really want another land and an Amnesia, because that would be great. Alright, well, there's a Relic Barrier. Now, Relic Barriers are good for a lot of things. But I looked up a lot of rules on this one, and we both did, actually. But and we're going to go over this later, but when this starts happening, I'll explain to you what he was doing and all the rules we looked up and what we found on Magic. Because of, like I said, they changed rules with coffins and other things like that. Alright, so let's see what we got here. Alright, so it looks like he's going to cast a Chain Lightning. But I'm going to use my COP and take no damage. And at this point, we're done kind of helping each other out, so we're just going to play regular straight Magic. Again, it is hard, some of the new guys, and I'm still newer to this myself, but that's why we play nice Magic, because we want to lose to a good play and a good player. Not because of a mistake that shouldn't have happened and wouldn't have happened in real life. So there's a blood moon. I'm looking at my hand and I'm trying to decide. I don't actually think I care. I didn't actually have a counter spell. But what that did right now is take away his Maze of Ith. So down comes Coffin. Because he only has red mana now, he has no black. So I'm going to start chucking things out. I don't really care about Tower anymore. Honestly, I gain more life from Fountain of Youth anyway. Alright, so he's going to be tapping down my Coffin in my upkeep. Now, I can respond if I had a creature out. I could respond with it. And ability would still go on the stack, and it would still resolve according to Magic the Gathering because it is not being destroyed. Alright, so now we have a Winds of Chains combo going. So we're both going to do a quick little shuffle here and mill some cards. Island. Oh, so here's Flash Flood. And another Coffin. That other Coffin would have been nice. Alright, so there's the pass. Now in my upkeep, he wants to tap down the Coffin. I don't have any... I'm just backpedaling for a hot second because this isn't my upkeep. I'm technically not allowed to play a spell yet. I didn't expect him to tap down, so... But he's going to tap my Coffin down. Looks like I forgot to replay my Fellware Stone there. Alright, so... Triskelion. Now, the thing with Triskelion is I can still shoot. Alright, so that's just me doing the untap upkeep. So, I'm kind of explaining to him I can still shoot. So I'm just going to shoot him for 3. And there's my untap. And now we're going to do upkeep. So I'm asking if he wants to do anything during my upkeep. So he wants to tap down the Triskelion. And I'm going to use Coffin. So I'm going to put my Triskelion under my Coffin. He's going to tap down my Coffin. Now this is where we both were looking up a whole lot of rules for a while, so I'm going to step ahead of this. But basically, what Magic the Gathering says with Relic Barrier and Coffin is if you use Relic Barrier, Coffin is not removed from the board, so the ability still goes on the stack. If you remove Coffin right now from the board, my Triskelion will stay in exile permanently because they eradicated the real wording, which is phasing. It was actually phasing initially. So they eradicated phasing and they made it a tap symbol when it was not a tap symbol before. So this is us looking it up, and that's what we found in Magic the Gathering. According to the official rules, it is still supposed to go off as long as Coffin is still on the board. Alright, so there's Triskelion in there. Now I did have to lose 3 mana because of the way we're doing it, but I still have 4 left. I'm explaining to him that I'm just going to hide it under my Coffin instead of flipping it upside down because I've already picked up cards by accident thinking they were in my hand. Because if you see, I keep my hand on the table unless I'm casting a spell or going to cast a spell. And I'm trying to angle my camera where you can kind of just about see off the table. But as you saw, I gave my hand away about like 2 times already. But I don't know if it was quick enough for anyone to realize what it was. Alright, so it's already tapped down. So I told him, you can't, don't really, it's already tapped. So there's no use to tapping it again. What's he going to cast here? I think he was thinking of casting a... Alright, another Winds of Chains. Now, if you look last time, he milled, I think, 2 Underworld Dreams, and there's 1 rack in there already. Actually, no, I think there's 2 racks in his graveyard already. So 2 racks and 2 Underworld Dreams are already gone. There's a Chains and another rack if you caught that. So already, because you're using the combo yourself, you're hurting yourself. Alright? So I think Chains is a powerful card, but I think it's a sideboard card. I think it should come in main deck when people play Sullivan Libraries, the books, or tomes, stuff like that. Like when they're drawing extra cards constantly, I think that's when it should come in. So we went untap, and then we went into upkeep. He's going to tap down both of my creatures. So I'm going to shoot him for 3 in response. And in response, I'm going to, or I should say, tap down both my creatures. He tapped down Triskelion and tapped down the Coffin. So I'm explaining, if you're tapping them both down, in response to Coffin, I'm going to put my Triskelion in my Coffin again. Alright. So I can't really do anything with 4 mana, so I'm just passing. There's a 3rd Relic Barrier. Alright, so there's pretty much a double tap down again, but I'm asking him when he's doing it so we can walk it through, and we're doing the same thing here. I'm just kind of showing him what the other card in my hand was and what the top deck was. Just kind of showing him that, you're not scooping for nothing. I kind of had it there. Alright, so we're just kind of laying things out here, but as that plays, I'm just going to read it to you. So basically, according to Magic the Gathering's official rules, yes, if you use Relic Berry to tap down Tana's Coffin in response to its activation, the ability still resolves successfully. If you use Relic Barrier to tap down Tana's Coffin, or if I use it in response to Relic Barrier, according to their rules, it still goes on the stack, regardless if it's tapped or untapped status afterwards. So it doesn't matter what happens with Coffin. Whether it's tapped or untapped afterwards means nothing. The ability is still on the stack. The ability requires it to be tapped as part of the costs. Once the cost is paid, the ability is on the stack. The tap from Relic Barrier is redundant and does not stop the effect. Result, the creature is still exiled. This is from modern rules, unlike the original rules according to them. So no matter what they do, it's going to still go off. The kicker is, if you were to Divine Offering in response to me using Coffin, the ability can't resolve because Coffin is destroyed and the targeted creature is exiled forever. That's the key. So hopefully you guys learned that there. Took us a couple, about 45 minutes to figure that out. But there are little quirks with it, and they only exist because of Magic with the new rules changing all the old cards, like Coffin. Coffin was never tap. It was 3, and basically you pay 3 mana, your creature gets exiled. Once it's exiled, Coffin becomes tapped. It's phasing. Your creature comes back. It technically doesn't have summoning sickness like it has now because there was no exile. It's phasing. Now it is tapped. That's why they said comes back tapped, because it was phasing and they didn't want you to just keep doing ball lightnings all over the place. So that was the original rules, and Magic changed it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this and learned a little bit. I hope you have a wonderful night.